Emanuel,
Michael,
how good is rugby league?
how good is State of Origin?
Oh,
How good is
I'm
New
not gonna
South
sweat.
Wales? What a game! What a game!
Honestly,
What a match! Just wow!
So
my goodness.
last season we were treated to one of the greatest grand finals of all time.
Yes.
I think we just got treated to one of the greatest games of rugby league all time last night.
Yeah.
Game 3, Origin decider in the cauldron. Twice in history that New South Wales have gone up there and won a decider. 2005, 1994. We heard it a million times this week. Can the Blues do it? And you better bloody believe they can.
They've done it. They've done it. Queenslanders, they're just looking a bit miserable today, aren't they? They're just all very sour, very bitter.
They're all
still
Queenslanders.
They are. They're all still Queenslanders. They don't know what that means, but they're all still Queenslanders.
Yeah. Oh my God, it felt great to see Billy and Daly Cherry and Suki in the press conference. My God, he's such a whiny little bitch. Oh.
What about the empty stadium at the end? I thought New South Wales just didn't get Origin. Queensland obviously don't understand it because they went home.
There was New South Wales chants in the crowd. You can hear them over the coverage. I never heard that in Suncorp. Just Queensland.
It was an ambush.
Yeah, we get it. They don't.
We get Origin.
It's as simple as that. Now, let's be real. Both of us tipped Queensland to win this series at the very start.
Yes.
But amazing victory from New South Wales. It changed the team. But we made this pick when we saw the team lists in Game 1.
Yeah.
And the stark differences between Games 1 and 2 and performances. And New South Wales, when it was 13-13, were the better side.
Yeah.
In almost every facet of the game.
So New South Wales only won 2 of the 6 halves of State of Origin.
Yep.
Queensland only scored 12 points against 13 Blues. What does that tell you?
Just incredible defence.
Yeah.
And I think it all starts...
Resilience, really, isn't it?
I think all credit to Queensland. They were a big contributor in why last night was such a good contest. Their defence was incredible.
Yeah.
Right? 14-4 is a low scoring game. Right? And it was kind of just like they ran out of gas. Right? I want to give a lot of credit to one person. That is Michael Maguire. I thought that he outcoached Billy Slater.
Yeah.
This whole series. You can tell that he has a lot more coaching experience than Billy does.
Yeah.
He understands tactics and how to change momentum more than Billy Slater does.
Yep.
You could see the difference between him and Brad Fittler from last year.
Yes.
He picked his moments perfectly. We went in, even Game 1, we just mentioned the team in Game 1, but we knew how he wanted to play.
Yeah.
And then he filled out and changed his roster ever so slightly after every game, especially this game bringing in Mitch Barnett, who's huge off the bench, right? Bradman Best comes in, does a great job for the injured Latrell, right? Every move that Madge made paid off. And just a brilliant coach. And I know you want to say some words about him.
Yeah, I have given him raps on this podcast for 5 years to the chagrin of Michael, who's gone, he doesn't know how to coach.
I've never said that.
He can't. He just doesn't have it. He's overhyped, but he is, he took Wigan to back-to-back premierships. He came to Souths 3 prelims in a row and broke the drought in his first 3 seasons. His record for the Tigers is obviously, they're beyond help.
If you look at who's coached the Tigers before Benji came in, Michael Maguire, premiership winner at Souths, and then taking New South Wales to a Game 3 decider win in Queensland.
Yeah.
And Ivan Cleary has won back-to-back premierships.
Yeah. So who's
no one can save
the
Tigers.
club that can't be fixed. And then obviously this performance, and I agree with you, Mike. Like this team, okay, there were bits of it we clearly were like, what the hell is going on? But we were a bit, to the extent, limited by the players that were unavailable. So, think back to Cam McInnes and Nico, obviously two of the key ones that stick out for us, and Teddy, but they were all filling in. Teddy had already been dropped, so we knew he wasn't going down that path.
Yeah, he was brought in on Sunday before the game.
Exactly. Moses was injured, and Cam Murray obviously had a spot. And so you could kind of tell the player that he was looking for.
Connor Watson as well. Injured.
And so you can tell the player that he was looking for, right? So I think, and we spoke about this after game one, you could see things in that game, despite the fact that we lost it. You could see things in that game when it was 13-12 that was so positive for us. So positive for us. I think the early moments of Origin 1, even before the Suaalii hit, there were danger signs. But when we got down to 12, I think we actually took so much confidence out of that, knowing that, hey, we've actually done pretty well here in that, what was it, a 30-minute period, 15 either side of halftime, I think was really where you saw the resilience, the strength, and the faith that the team had in each other.
Yeah, I was listening to him talk today outside their accommodations in Queensland.
Yeah.
And he was talking about why he chose the Blue Mountains, and something just stuck with me. And he started this whole journey traveling around New South Wales trying to find somewhere that will embrace the Blues.
Yeah.
And couldn't find, went all over New South Wales, couldn't find a place. And then he heard then someone said, why don't you check out the Blue Mountains? And he said, Blue Mountains, New South Wales Blues, let's try it out. Went to the Fairmont, right? They didn't have a field or a state-of-the-art gym. However, and then he quoted, great movie, Field of Dreams. He said, if you build it, they will come. They built a field for us. Yeah. They built a state-of-the-art gym for us. Yeah. We went there.
Yeah.
And the community embraced us.
Yeah.
Then I'm speaking like I'm on the team. I feel like I was on the team yesterday. But like just...
It's a very blue jumpy going on.
On purpose.
I know.
Just amazing, like his philosophy and everything, and huge reps on match. Huge reps on match.
Yeah, do you know what I love? Like we've seen, we sort of, and you saw this early on with Fittler to an extent, is that we sort of stepped away from picking players that the team couldn't stand, right? We had a whole period where it was hard for us to get behind the people that were playing for the Blues. They'd been there so many times. We were so over it. And then Freddie came in and we picked this young team and very exciting team. But last night and throughout this series, I actually felt it's the first time in a while where it didn't seem like these were all different club players. Like I actually felt like it was a team of 13,
cohesion.
13 players plus the 4 reserves on the field and off the field. And they were very cohesive. You could see a lot of camaraderie between, and I know they've played together before, but Cam Murray and Crichton obviously are close. But even someone like Bradman Best and Cam Murray post-game are just so excited. Or Luai and Moses. And
it wasn't just the 17 people in the jerseys. It was, so Joseph Suaalii played game 1.
Yes.
He was at every other game.
Yep.
He was in the camp for every other warm-up to the game. Homole Elakawatu dropped, understood why he was dropped, was invited back to camp, was a huge part. Right, even got involved in this game.
Sent off. He's done it all.
Right, but like the players, like last year and the year before, we tried Tavita Pangai Jr., we tried Stefano Utukamano. They were like unceremoniously dropped.
Yeah.
No reason why, and then like they felt like they were on the outs. That was the Trolls' problem, right? He just didn't think that he was like part of the culture, whereas that has been built now.
Yeah, and this I think is the problem. And this is also easy to say with hindsight, okay? But, the last couple of years, it's been, before this season, been 2 coaches, both employed by Channel 9, okay? So they're both facing up. But I think that the last couple of years, the media and the questioning and the constant scrutiny that Fittler had started to get into his head.
Well, Billy's copying it this year.
Yeah, and he is copying it. And
you get 2 years of grace,
yeah,
and then...
But this is it, because Billy has all those commitments as well, and I know they drop off in Origin, but Michael Maguire does not have any of that.
Yeah.
So he just completely spins and manipulates it. And I think the thing that blindsided Billy more than anything, and I do reckon it's true, is this Danny Weidler story that came out over the weekend about him and Cobbo. And it's hard not to believe it because there's a history of this in the Queensland camp. Cherry Evans was once maligned and then has come back to be the captain. We've seen it with David Fafita, who I think there will be serious questions asked about why he hasn't been picked.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. I know. But I think that Madge's, he made the whole, in true Wayne Bennett style, he made the narrative all about him, deflected, took away from the players, saved the airtime for Michael Maguire, absorbed all the pressure, took on Gordon Tallis. Gordon took the bait on a couple of occasions. And I just, we spent a week and a half talking about what does glass houses mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And, Slater tried to counteract it with the whole, we're just Queenslanders.
We're all still Queenslanders.
We're all still Queenslanders. And everyone's like, but what does he mean? But everyone's like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, we're all still New South Welshmen.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It was brilliant. And to be honest, even more credit is due to Madge because I do feel like there are a couple of... there was an element within New South Wales that wanted Madge to fail. Like, part of me thinks that there were corners of the game that were kind of like, he is the outsider, he's never put on the jersey before, he doesn't get it, he hasn't coached for ages, blah, blah, blah. What kind of team is this? But credit to him, he stuck to his guns and he justified those picks by the end of the series, didn't he?
Yeah, completely agree. Let's step away from the coaching and let's step into the players on the field.
Yeah.
And let's start with the number 1 jersey for New South Wales, the man of the match, Phil Edwards, who played the majority of the first half, a lot of the first half and the whole second half with the torn PCL. Probably going to miss 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But led the game in run meters, 245, I believe, was just so stable and calming at the back. Did such great work in defense and was just... This is why he was picked. He's the calming presence at the back. You just know you're safe. Does his job. You need a carry out of your own end. He's going to go. He's going to break tackles. He's going to get in the front foot. And he's going to start your sets off perfectly. Yeah. And he was amazing.
Yeah, he was... It was justified. It was very hard to... And, the thing about him actually missing game 1 was that it really did show why we needed to move on from James Tedesco, who was an incredible fullback for the Blues, but the time had come. And I really just think that Edwards is just so seamless. Even last night, his dummy half running, just to buy like 10 or 15 meters, almost in a hooker-like role, just made such a difference. And knowing that you could do that and he was happy to go up and not create, the almighty play and just to go there, be the battering ram, make the hit up. And he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Our 2 wingers.
Yeah.
Brian To'o. Yeah. The most stable winger in the competition.
Yeah.
And debutant for this series, and I thought was a serious shot to win man of the series, was Zach Lomax.
Yeah.
They were both incredible.
Yeah.
To'o obviously didn't get as many touches this game, but has been just...
He made some great tackles.
Defensively was just so sound.
Yeah.
And Zach Lomax, Queensland were just like, we are not letting this guy beat us in the air. We're going to send everything at him. And if it was a club game, there would have been like 5 escorts called.
Yeah.
Right? There was 1 called.
Yeah.
But they were like, we are not letting this guy catch this ball in the air.
Yeah.
And there was also one of the big questions about Lomax was, is he going to throw that offload that's going to cost us?
Yeah.
Didn't do any of it.
No.
Right? It was actually his inside centre who did it more in Crichton.
Yeah.
But then there was also that play where Reece Walsh makes the line break. Mitch Moses ankle taps him. He falls to the ground. Zach Lomax has the smarts and the wherewithal to wait till Reece Walsh gets to his feet and then just tackles him.
Isn't that a smart footballer? Isn't that you can't...
Brilliant play.
You can't coach that.
No, that's just instinct.
Yeah, it's knowing how the game works and coming up with the creative play.
Yeah.
And it's knowing that if you sat on him, then it doesn't do anything and it's likely to be a flop. Yeah. But if you wait for him to get up and pull him over the line, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and also 3 from 3, 2 from the sideline.
Yeah.
Clutch kicks. He was exceptional all series. I thought he was
so calm.
He's going to be there next year. Yeah. He has to be.
Yeah. He's going to be playing centre at club, but he's going to be there.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? He's been such a good winger. Our centres. Chopped and changed, obviously, a little bit throughout the series. Stephen Crichton being the stable one there.
Yeah.
I actually thought that he had one of his worst games of the series last night. Had 4 errors. Great defensively, but in attack, just tried to push it a few too many times.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he's still just...
Defensively, he's shut down that whole side.
It's so safe, isn't it? Like, it's just, the two of them on that side, just awesome.
Bradman.
He was awesome. But we thought this last year. He's just so strong. He's just this giant, moving, mobile fridge. Like he's like a fridge on wheels at like 80 kilometers an hour that cannot be stopped and cannot be tamed. Like he was just like
from the opening set of the
covered
game.
in blood and he was like he just hits the accelerator and he's off.
Yeah. From the opening set of the game, he almost makes that break. He does knock it on. And like that happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Where like that left side looked so dangerous for us.
Do you know what I loved though?
It ended up working.
Do you know what I loved? Okay, so they ended up working down that side, but 2 or 3 times he dropped it. He ended up doing back to Cherry Evans what Cherry Evans did to him.
100%.
And that what I thought was like, that's someone who's just, really getting origin.
Yeah. No, he was amazing. Number 6 for New South Wales, Jerome Luai.
Yeah.
What a series for him.
Yeah, he had a brilliant game. This period for Penrith has been
these last 3 months for Jerome Luai could be like career making.
Yeah. This is going to be the thing where he's no longer Nathan's sidekick and he goes on to become, the real dominant playmaker. And if he can take this to the Tigers, maybe he's the one to salvage them. But I just think it was amazing.
He's just a winner. That's what he is. He's a winner, and he got under Cherry Evans' skin.
Yeah.
Even last game, he was underneath his skin. That fight that broke out was because that was Cherry Evans losing it at Jerome Luai.
Yeah.
Right. He had his number all series, and his left foot kicks were great. I know, like he has the tendency to come off his left foot, but a lot of the time during this game, it was because DCE was rushing up, and trying to stop that outside threat, and it was like, oh, well, I'll step on the left foot, I'll find Moses, we'll put a kick over to Zach Lomax.
Yeah,
like he was so in control, and just antagonized them all game, and then it obviously the moment that broke the game open, offload from Connor Watson, he picks it up, dummies. All season, all series, we've been saying Nanai's, that's the weak spot.
Yeah.
Straight through him, dummy and go. And then another just insanely smart and just instincts play is to slow down, to let Bradman Best catch up, just move a little bit to try and draw Reece Walsh and then put a perfect pass. Hit Bradman Best in the shoulder, but he couldn't really put it anywhere else, otherwise it would have been intercepted.
Yeah.
And then Bradman would just finished it off with brute strength.
Yeah.
But like that pass that Luai made, I like watching it live, I was like, I don't know if he can make that. And he hit it perfectly.
And that as well, like that comes from studying and really knowing your opponent too, doesn't it? Like, they played that game in Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. They played a grand final last year. He's played Origin against him. He just really knows, and it's someone that really knows Reece Walsh to a T and had really done their homework. And just I'm surprised because I thought at the start of this series, well, if Nathan's not there, why does Luai get that right?
No one had him in the team.
No one had him in the team. He wasn't the incumbent.
No.
But he did a brilliant job. And the one thing that I think is probably a fault from last night is just the entire, until Watson came on, and I don't know if he came on with a particular message, but the whole game plan for the Blues was very, very conservative.
It was.
There were hardly any offloads. The kicking game was a touch lackluster, and only when Moses scored, and did we start to see a bit of that creativity and a bit more ad-lib football to really crack the game open?
Yeah, we'll talk about Watson shortly.
Yeah.
Look, I think it was a very controlled game by New South Wales.
Yeah.
They they grinded out, and you could see that at some point one team was going to break.
Yeah.
And it would land. And I think that did coincide with Connor Watson coming on and just being a bit more creative out of dummy half.
Yeah.
The forwards for New South Wales, Jake, 23 minutes. We've seen this all series. He was there for culture. He was there for morale. Whether he's there next year and there's a new captain, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to... I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I think he's more suited to, look, it worked. And I think everyone else got good minutes because of it.
And was Yeo the named vice captain?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, he has been the whole series.
Yeah.
We'll get to Mitch.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. So Haas, and again, great to start the game.
Yeah.
Thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
Reece Robson was really good defensively in the first 25 minutes. You could tell he really fatigued late in that game, and that's where he gave away those 2 penalties.
Yeah, it got silly.
And then that's when we brought him on. He probably lasted 5 to 10 minutes too long. If I was to quibble with anything that Madge did, it was just not getting Watson in soon enough, but it ended up working out anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't fault that.
Yeah. Our edges.
Jeez.
Let's start Liam Martin. He was great. Again, got his bell rung early on by Tom Dearden, but I thought he was just solid.
He's really made he's just workmanlike, dependable. He's just really made that position his own. He's public enemy number 1 with Queenslanders, and embraces it. He was good. I thought it wasn't his best game of the series last night, to be honest. But, we were texting during the game and kind of, there was a point where kind of like, we're doing amazingly, but I don't know who's doing, we're just all in it together, but no one is really the standout. He had his moments too, but he's just, reliable and he's not going to beat himself. He's
just tough. That's he's not going to put up big stats, but he's going to set a tone. He's going to bring intensity, and it's what you need.
Yeah.
On the other side, I'm so happy for this guy, Angus Crichton. My God, what a turnaround the last 16 months has been, 18 months has been.
It's incredible.
From almost retiring because of, obviously, there's a great interview with Michael Chamis on Channel 9 that was done done last week.
Yeah.
Him detailing everything that happened to him.
Yeah.
Basically being put in the psychiatric ward over in France.
Yeah.
Coming back to the NRL, obviously had the first 8 weeks of the competition off, and then just not being in the right headspace to play basically all year.
Yeah.
Started this year in reserve grade.
Yeah.
Started this year being shot to rugby union and being lost to this game. And turning it around into the Wally Lewis medalist. Definitely at the moment the best back rower in the competition. Was dominant in all 3 games. He was incredible. He's so strong in contact. Every single time he got the ball, someone bounced off him.
He was superhuman. He was
so strong.
He was unbelievable. Out of this world. Every time he got the ball, he was bouncing off people like
he was the only one offloading as well.
He was the only one offloading. He had all the creativity happened around him for the entire series, really. He was just so strong and fearless, and he just played out of his skin the whole time as if it was going to be his last play in the NRL.
He's going to give Daly Cherry Evans nightmares for the next year, I believe, because he tortured him.
And Luai.
Yeah, jeez, it was amazing. Cam Murray.
Captain.
I thought
Skip.
Skip. I thought Cam Murray was great. Obviously, he got sin binned from the bench, which meant Mitch Barnett had to come off
to do it.
First play, yeah.
South's in the history books again, guys. He was. How could you send him off, Michael? He's just too handsome. You can't send someone like that from the field. It's not fair. Although
they sent Carrigan off last game, so
yeah. Whatever. Poor Mitch Barnett. Not Mitch Barnett. Yeah, Mitch Barnett. He learned that he's expendable. It's
the funny thing was Isaiah Yeo went up to Ashley Klein and was like, who do we send off? He didn't want to say he was on the bench. Who we send off? It was just he was on it was we don't want to admit to what has happened here.
Yeah.
But what do we do? Because no one knew. It was very, very odd situation. Even Gus was like, I've never seen anything like this.
Murray, surprised me because he really, like, there was that one off the bench, but there were a couple on the field where it came to blows, and he would just run in every time. I think, Val Holmes headbutted. Who did he headbutt to the ground? Was it? I
can't remember.
Yeah, I can't. Was it Lomax?
Maybe.
Anyway, and I'm just like, Murray out of nowhere just lost his mind, and I'm like, what has happened? But, Madge is very good at firing everyone up.
Apparently.
Not used to it after very calm.
I think the only person who had a smile on their face during the game was Jake Trbojevic.
Yeah. Honestly, what a job.
The halfback, Mitch Moses.
Yeah.
Came in game 2. Obviously, man of the match, one of the greatest performances by a half ever. I thought that his ball playing in the start of this game wasn't amazing, but his long kicking game, he outkicked Daly Cherry-Evans. He outkicked Daly Cherry-Evans. Any time that we were struggling within our field, like in our side of the field, he would put in a huge kick. And everything was just, he was great.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of football, right? And you have this opening up period of like 10 to 15 minutes, right? This one went for 60, and it was in fact due to the brilliance of both halves. But there were times where, as you said, Mitch Moses' kicking game completely dominated Cherry-Evans, and his long boot saved us on so many occasions, and we did not even realise it. But we would start so far in our half, and we would just end up with Queensland on their own line, and then we'd back our defence, and Cherry-Evans seemed stumped. He seemed frustrated. He seemed lost. Moses tried. So poor Mitch, he's had a great Origin series. His team's probably going to get the wooden spoon, and he's out with a torn bicep.
Yeah, at least he's going to go out a winner.
He's going to go out a winner, but then people will turn around in 10 months' time and say, no, Nathan Cleary should be the state halfback.
No.
So that's what... Anyway,
no.
I think that was one of the most brilliant Origin tries.
It was great, amazing. Just eyes up football, seeing the marker, knew he could beat whoever was at marker, and then had the wherewithal to know that Harry Grant, very fatigued, bit on the dummy, and it was an incredible Origin try, capped off by a great 2 games for him.
Yeah.
And then, you mentioned ruptured his bicep in the last 3 minutes of the game, had to come off, but he is going forward, starting next season. If he's healthy, he's my number 7. It's his spot. It's his spot to lose.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%.
It's Jerome Luai's spot to lose as well. Mm-hmm. Nathan Cleary has to do a lot to get back into this team.
Yeah.
I've said on this podcast many times, he might go down as the greatest player of all time. Right now, he's on the outside looking in. And I think it's Mitch Moses. It has to be. He's played the last 3 games he's played, he's been exceptional for New South Wales.
Yeah. Never lost.
Nah, he came in.
He came in 2021, didn't he? Game 3,
Game 3, and lost.
Yeah. Well, he's never lost in my memory. Brilliant. Yeah. Just brilliant.
Our bench, Mitch Barnett was awesome.
Yeah, he was. Great choice.
Just filled the role, obviously, when Angus went off for an HIA.
Yeah, so it's very interesting because I got really worried, Mike, because we'd spoken about how Barnett came in because Madge was clearly comfortable with his edges and what he was getting out of them. Yeah. And then when Gus looked like he'd gone off a broken neck or whatever it was going to be, I was like...
But
but he was saying he thought it was actually really bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, the one game where Madge, drops the edge player...
Yeah. Barnett has played edge for most of his career. He's moved to the middle this year.
Yeah.
But he has played edge, and I think that was one of the reasons why they picked him. He is a middle forward, but if you need him to service on the edge, very capable of doing so.
Yeah.
Probably Spencer's least impactful game, but he's still good. Good first run. Obviously gave away that penalty.
I think it was just too enthusiastic in the beginning.
Yeah.
They kind of cracked him a bit this time round.
I thought Yo was good when Murray was on the field. Not so good when Murray was off the field.
Yeah.
I just think that he reverted back to a bit like it just the ball found him a bit too much.
Yeah.
In the attacking areas.
It stifled things as well because he's not slow. Like, he's a very agile and versatile player, and like he can make a quick run and he's got a bit of a step in him. But for some reason, his receipt and service of the ball when he's sort of getting it from one end of the field to the other is just too slow. It just seems to, like, that second he's got the ball seems to take like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and when he started going back to just playing straight up, he always found his stomach. He was always on his feet quick, always had a quick play the ball.
Yeah.
Poked his head through the line. I just think that's his perfect role in Origin. And Connor Watson.
Yeah, brilliant.
Just
needed more time.
Just probably 5-10 minutes earlier, and we might have run away with it a bit sooner. I thought he was fantastic. Perfect utility for New South Wales.
Yeah.
Ended up finishing the game in the halves because Mitch got injured. But just you could see the moment he came on, obviously Crichton gives him that offload, then he gives the offload to Luai, who then goes dummies and goes himself. But there was a reason the game turned when he came on. He gave us a bit of spark out of our own end.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how many minutes he played in game.
I think it was about 13 or 14, and this one wasn't much different.
So this was 17. But you know, like, what a perfect debut series, really. He's been exposed. He's had 2 wins. He's made such an impact. And next year you could throw him in for like 40, 50 minutes.
Easily.
And he wouldn't bat an eyelid to it. And I think back to the sort of, you know, Moses, with all credit to Fittler, Moses getting that debut in 2021 was so good for him because it's, and even Best last year getting it because, you know, that's a backup centre that has Origin winning experience and can just go and fill that role with such ease.
Yeah. I just also another player who started in reserve grade this year. Obviously, of a horrific injury last year, missed all of last year. Started in reserve grade this year, has become just one of the best utilities in the game. Just such a unique player. It's like Queensland would love a player like him.
Well, that was Hunt originally.
Yeah, but Hunt can't play in the backs like he can. He's not as fast as he can.
No,
well, probably can't play in the forwards like he can.
Yeah.
So Connor Watson's just
the new Craig Wing.
He is. It's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Just great series from New South Wales. If we were to pick the team for next year, I know this is ridiculous. We're picking it 10 months out, but like I'd almost say every single player back in. The only change I might make is Latrell in for Bradman Best.
Yeah,
that's it.
But reluctantly.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying
knowing that Bradman can come in and do a job if Latrell's not there.
Yeah.
A great job. That's it.
You know, the only thing I thought that was really missing until our try was someone just to make a bit of a difference with that game. Because I did feel that it really, that try came out of an offload and a bounce the ball and a flick out the back. And I feel like Latrell as a player probably offers more. Like it just mixes up. Look, at one point, the Queensland kicking game, how many of them were kicking?
Yeah.
Well, you had Ponga, you had Walsh, you had Cherry Evans, you had Dearden, Hunt.
Yeah. Grant put him in kick.
And it was. And I know it didn't win them the game in the end, but it's just so handy to have an extra boot.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think like as good as Bradman Best's try was, he did bobble a couple of opportunities. He did knock the ball on. I just think that Latrell might have scored 1 or 2 of those. I just think that's the Latrell
freaky play. He can pull it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Other than that, just an incredible year for New South Wales. It feels good to win. All right, Queensland. Do we want to be rude or nice?
Do whatever you want, Mike. It hasn't stopped you before.
All right.
I'll read them to you. How about that?
Okay, go for it.
All right. So, Reece Walsh.
I actually thought he was pretty good this game. I thought like he was obviously their most dangerous player. There's not too much that can be said. His forwards were just out, like our size was so much more than theirs.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah.
I just think that our team was way more physical and he just couldn't get on the front foot. I don't think he was bad.
Before we move on, should we talk a bit about Billy?
Yes, let's do that.
Because he's been a great coach. He's done an excellent. But he has he's done a brilliant job for someone that was just sort of really just plunged into the role.
Yeah.
But this, even last night's last minute switched the entire bench around.
I understood that, just to take heat off Nanai in the first 20 minutes to get him out of there defensively.
Yeah.
But the team wasn't big enough to beat us.
Yeah.
We were way too physical. We were way too strong for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Cotter and Carrigan are both amazing players, right? Cotter's not a big player.
No.
They were playing close to 80. They both played, I think, Cotter didn't play 80, but Carrigan played 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Had to make 61 tackles.
Yeah.
Had more metres than any other Queenslander forward, right? There was just no reprieve for him. And I think that changes next year when you have Tino, Flegler, Tom Gilbert back. They're three bigs out. Three really, really, really big outs. Tino and Flegler are your
bread and butter props.
No, they're your aggressors.
Yeah.
Right? Lindsay Collins isn't that.
No.
Lindsay Collins.
He didn't play many minutes.
He was all right.
Played 32.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's odd. I didn't know that. I thought he was out there for longer. Yeah, just I just think they missed that aggressiveness from those guys all series.
Yeah. What do you think about David Fifita?
He should have been in there, and I said that from the first game. Their problem this whole series was they couldn't break our coming out of their own end. They just couldn't break our line.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes they would get on the outside and they'd beat us with pace.
Yeah.
Right. Mostly when we had 12 men on the field. But just coming out of their own end, they just needed someone to put their head down and just take a big carry.
Yeah.
Someone who's difficult to take. And I heard someone, maybe it was Mitchell Pearce, was saying that, like, who do you fear more when Reece Walsh is coming out of the back line and you've got a second row of the ball, Kirk Catewell or Dave Fifita?
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's all the intimidation factor. It's like, it's the same conversation about not picking Latrell. You pick him because of what he might be able to do.
There's gravity to it.
Of course.
Right? Players are scared of that possibility.
Of course.
Kirk Catewell's a good player. He doesn't bring that fear that David Fifita can bring.
No.
Right? I have another question for you. If you're going to run a Ponga on the bench, is it time to scrap Grant and Hunt?
I think so. I honestly think so, because the problem last night that they had was that Ponga is the most dangerous player, right?
There was that 10-minute period, like the 50th to 60th minute, where he came on and you messaged me, and I felt the exact same thing. It was like they had a bit of the ascendancy, and we were scared. It's like we're going to be out, we're going to be Queensland. Like, it's just going to happen. But it didn't, thank God. But
their problem was that they had that, which meant that they lacked extra grunt. And the problem was that Ponga didn't come into the game that they thought was going to happen.
No.
Like, this game had or was just starting to break open. Queensland seemed to have a bit of momentum. But I don't, like there's been all this talk about Harry Grant has a sternum injury and is struggling. Now, and Ben Hunt is not young either. And I think that the dynamic and the spark of that, Queensland probably needs to do the two hooker thing with a younger hooker. If they do it.
Yeah, I think that.
Because, what is Ben Hunt offering now that Kalen Ponga can't give them?
Yeah, I actually think the perfect player for them coming off their bench would be like an AJ Brimson.
Yeah. Who
probably is big enough to play 13, can play anywhere in the backs, could probably deputise at hooker for a little bit. Ruben Cotter can also deputise at hooker for a small amount if you need to give Harry Grant a break.
So I think Harry Brimson and Hunt in that role?
I wouldn't put Hunt.
You put Brimson and Grant?
Yeah. I think it's time for Harry to take on, instead of playing 40 minutes, playing closer to 65, 70.
Yeah.
Because as the game goes along, he starts becoming more meticulous and starts picking you apart more.
Yeah.
That's his strength.
I mean, this has been the thing now for 3 years? this two-hooker thing for Queensland. It was 3 years. And it's worked, and we'll copy it as well. But it just seemed
I think it's run its course.
Maybe.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to carry another back on the field and you
it depletes your bench, doesn't it? And that's the benefit of Connor Watson.
Yeah.
I just, to end up with Hunt or Grand and Ponga on the bench, it just really dilutes what else you can offer.
Yeah. I thought that Val Holmes looked a lot better on the wing. This got more hands on the ball, had good runs.
Yeah.
I thought Cobbo struggled. I thought Gagai struggled. The Hammer looked like he was just out of gas.
Too many tries.
There was that point where Hammer got the ball and went to run and was just like, I haven't got it, and passed it back on the inside. He was just like, I haven't got the speed to do this. I haven't got the energy to do this.
Yeah. But, credit to even someone like Gagai, that 50 to 60 minute mark where it looked like they were on top. Queensland found a bit of space and he just works that footwork and he makes some meters.
Yeah.
And you think that if he gets an offload away or there's someone there in support or someone misses a tackle, it's a completely different game.
Yeah.
But I thought that Gagai and Holmes pretty good defensively, considering that they'd sort of hardly had any ball and were defending for that long, that they survived that long.
Yeah. Look, I think Queensland were great defensively.
Yeah, it takes you said, it takes two teams to make a good game of football.
Completely agree. And I just think that the physicality got to them in the end.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what I thought would start happening when we saw the scoreline at halftime, which is 2-0.
Yeah. So one of the things that
I thought, go ahead.
One of the things that really stood out to me is probably why this game took so long to break open was this was the speed of the play of the ball.
Yeah.
Right. So it was slow. It was so slow. And I saw this stat that the average play the ball speed for Queensland was 3.62 seconds. And for the Blues, it was 4.05 seconds. Now that is a really, really slow play, especially in this game.
Yeah, there was a game, for comparison, there was a game earlier this year, I believe the Roosters had one of the fastest.
Yeah. Which
was about 2.4 seconds per play the ball.
Yeah, well, New South Wales in game 2 were 3.35.
Yeah.
So it's 3/4 of a second over. And it's just like,
it matters.
You can talk about the impact of the crowd. The crowd or the ref, someone let that unfold. And I think that is probably the reason that Queensland were in that game for as long as they were.
Yeah. Yeah, look, we're not going to bring up Ashley Klein. I just think that he probably didn't have control of this whole series.
From the referee that brought you Sin Bin Sunday comes State of Origin 3.
Yeah, I thought Tom Duden was great back to Queensland. Yeah. Thought defensively he was really strong.
Yeah,
he mentioned that hit on Liam Martin earlier on.
He made a point of it too, didn't he? It burnt him.
Yeah,
it really burnt him, and he was everywhere. He did so well.
Yeah,
so well.
It's going to be interesting what happens with him next year.
Well, here's another one. Can he play hooker?
Maybe he comes off the bench, right?
9 hookers in that team.
Yeah, because obviously, another big name that I'm missing was Cam Munster, who is, when he's on the field, just like, oh my God, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
He's lightning in a bottle. So, yeah, look, Queensland do have some big name players coming back. But we had our outs as well. We had Trbojevic out. We had Cleary out. Right. Latrell out. There was a couple of big names out, but I think it affected them probably a little bit more. Yeah. It's not an excuse.
Will we ever see those 3 play Origin together again? It was probably the most incredible 80 minutes of our lives.
That was
whatever it was. It was just, it was another level.
Yeah. Oh, I actually preferred game 2 this year.
Yeah. It was great. Last night is people must think I secretly love soccer because that was it's my favorite kind of game, Mike. It's end to end and no one is scoring points for that long.
We've said this many times.
It's just the most perfect game. It is a true game of attrition, and it's like that game between Panthers and Melbourne earlier in the year that was 8-0.
Yeah.
It is just end to end, you are on the edge of your seats. At one point, I think it was halfway through the first half, and you know, the red zone for Westpac or whatever it is, they do not sponsor the podcast, by the way. The red zone was like 9 play the balls for New South Wales and 3 for we're waiting, and 3 for Queensland, which means the entire game was just played in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was just awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. One thing we didn't mention was New South Wales held Queensland without a try.
Yeah.
At Suncorp, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts on Origin?
Did we get through the whole Queensland team?
Jade, no, we didn't. Jeremiah and I, still very young. I think will improve, but defensively, I just don't think he's there yet. And he was always the player that, like, I think he's probably a bit overrated at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, attacking, he's great. He just has lapses in defense.
Yeah.
Daly?
Not his best.
I don't think his last 2 games were that good, to be honest.
No.
I think he got frustrated. Our players got underneath his skin and just didn't give him the time.
But that's his forwards, isn't it? Like, that's really... Because he's got it, and he can just manipulate it and control it.
Even his kicking wasn't anywhere near as good as what it should have been. Like, some of his attacking kicks last night just landed in kind of no man's land. His short dropouts, none of them worked. Luai's, all of them worked. Right? It was just little things like he didn't seem as in control as he normally is, and I don't know.
Pressure.
Yeah.
I think the pressure, like Slater, Cherry Evans, usually both very composed, but I do think it got to them.
Oh, they were frustrated, very, very noticeably. Daly especially was notably frustrated at the end of that game.
Yeah.
Anyone else we haven't hit on?
Harry Grant, I think, is injured.
Yeah, he doesn't look right. Cotter, I thought, another great performance. I mentioned Carrigan. He was Queensland's best all series. He's someone on one of our TikTok videos when we said if Queensland win, he's the player of the series, said that he's the most overrated player in the game, and I clapped back big time. Not.
You felt personally attacked.
I felt attacked, yes.
Michael's in his I'm channeling Patrick Carrigan hairdo era.
Not quite. But yeah, I thought he was fantastic all game. Felice Kafusi didn't really do too much. Mo Fodawaker. They were there yeah. Very different spectrum. I don't know. 15 minutes, 4 runs.
Might be time for someone young.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that obviously if they had the full healthy roster, he wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I just think they probably brought him in game 2 just to galvanise the team a little bit.
Yeah, because if you bring in, those 3 forwards that you said they're missing, plus Munster, and then you just bring in 1 or 2...
You've got like Hopgood as well, who was out.
There's injuries on both sides, but I think if you do that, it's fine. You're just going to have to go off the thing, we're never probably going to get a full complement of players on the field.
No. Okay. We're now heading into round 20.
Yeah.
How any player other than like Kalen Ponga and Connor Watson are backing up from that, I have no idea. That was one of the most physical, hard-hitting games.
I said this to you.
We need a month off.
I don't know how they're doing it.
We need a month off.
I'm so happy Cam Murray's suspended this weekend. Not really, but it's just another thing. The NRL, this conversation about Origin, right, and the scheduling, and there's been a lot of conjecture about it this week on NRL 360 because the Broncos are struggling, guys. They've had such a tough run. You don't understand what it's like to be the Broncos. They just have more. Anyway, I'm not going down that path, but I think that the NRL loses people that probably don't mind about Origin sort of impacting club. The NRL loses people a bit when you get to this point where it's like Olaquatu and Cam Murray are going to miss club games for what happened on the weekend. I get, and especially for Murray, it's a bad look when you're talking about people watching the game that don't usually watch, that possible future Australian captain is running in and sort of being in that wrestle, whatever it is. I kind of get it.
No,
but Murray, I don't think that missing games for your club is the right for that.
What Murray did is a cardinal sin in any sport and any time in the world.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot run off your bench.
Yeah.
Right? And he was lucky not to be sent off. I actually agree with that sentiment. But it was Origin.
Yeah.
It was a really big decision to make.
Yeah.
It's not like he threw punches or anything, but he did run a long way.
Yeah. But Mike, my thing is like now what's happening is that his club pays the punishment because the NRL doesn't want to ruin that spectacle.
Yeah, it's the same. So Joseph Suaalii hasn't played since Origin 1.
100%. But I don't know what the solution is for this.
Either do I. Do you fine them heavier for Origin infringements? I don't know. I don't know how it works. But yeah, I just think that the game is now so physical and fast that these players can't be expected to back up. It's too difficult.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on Origin?
Bring on next year.
All right. New South Wales can now move forward unburdened by what has been.
Oh, brilliant.
There you go. Waiting to drop that one. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That is how good is American politics is dropping very soon. That is, wow. Well done.
Thank you. Now let's move on to round 20 of the NRL competition. 3 teams on a bye the last week where more than one team had the bye.
Yep. So Cronulla, Parramatta and the Dragons all with byes this week, which means there's 7 games of football, no Thursday night, which is why you can hear and see us right now. Okay, tomorrow night, cracking game. Raiders, Warriors. Unusual Friday night game, but Channel 9's won the ratings week anyway after last night's broadcast, so they don't care. I'm just going to run through the teams, Mike, and you can give me your tips.
Yep, let's do it.
Raiders,
Warriors. No Tohu Harris. Jamal Fogarty back. Let's go with the Raiders.
Yep. Saturday afternoon, Souths host the Tigers up in Gosford, I believe this game is. As we mentioned, no Cam Murray. News out of the Tigers today about Robbie Farah leaving at the end of the season. They're looking for a more experienced assistant coach. Watch this space. Who you got?
No Appy for the Tigers either, I believe. Let's go with South Sydney.
Yep. Saturday night, afternoon, 5:30, big game. Newcastle hosting the Broncos.
Really big game. Really, really big game. Broncos kind of need to do a Roosters from last year. Go on a big run, basically win everything to make the 8.
Yeah.
Can they do it? Don't know. Patrick Carrigan might be in doubt. Payne Haas might be in doubt. Bruce Walsh might be in doubt. I assume Kalen Ponga will play. I assume Gagai and Best will play. Let's go with Newcastle.
Yeah, these two played an epic game last year between Origin 2 and 3, I think. Okay, big game Saturday night. Storm hosting the Roosters. Roosters favourites for this one.
Yeah, at home. Away in Melbourne. Not too many teams go to Melbourne and are the favourites.
Some teams don't even go there to win.
It's going to be interesting to see who backs up. Grant, don't know if he backs up. Crichton maybe doesn't back up either. I'm going to go the Roosters.
Yeah. Sunday afternoon, Penrith hosting the Dolphins. Penrith heavy favourites for this one.
Yeah. Nathan's back, which is the big news, but no Isaiah Yeo. Dylan Edwards will be out. I assume Brian Toto will get rested. Jerome Luai will get rested. Liam Martin will get rested. Panthers.
Manly hosting the Titans at Brookvale. Desi's return to Brookvale.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
No Olakawatu, obviously. Cherry Evans does normally back up. I don't know if he can after what he went through.
Do you think Jake will?
He only played 20 minutes. Barely broke a sweat. I don't mean that. He did play 20 hard minutes in the middle. Titans. I love what I've seen out of Jaden Campbell at 6. Love it.
Yeah. If they started their move about 5 weeks earlier, they'd be...
2 weeks earlier, they'd be in the competition.
Yeah, I know.
They're on the same amount of points as the Broncos and Souths.
Yeah. You got them? You tipping them?
Yeah, Titans.
Yep. Okay, final game of the round. The Cowboys hosting the Bulldogs. 6:15.
Another big game.
Yeah, this is a really big week.
This is such a 6:15 Fox Sports game. I'm going to tip the Bulldogs.
So rarely do games happen at this time. This is such a 6:15 game.
I swear that game has only ever been played at 6:15 on a Sunday night.
Yeah, well, this game has never been played on Friday night. Raiders, Warriors in prime time. Who let that happen, guys?
Let's get teams who aren't going to have too many Origin players play first off.
I'm with you. Yeah. Okay, Raiders, Warriors. Michael's gone with Canberra.
Yep.
Saturday afternoon, Michael's tipped Souths over the Tigers, Newcastle over the Broncos, and the Roosters to win in Melbourne. He's very confident. Sunday afternoon, Michael's tipped Penrith at home to beat Dolphins. Manly?
No, Titans.
You tipped the Titans at Brookie, and I missed the last tip.
I'm tipping the Dogs.
The Dogs in Townsville. I really got to start listening when you talk.
Why start now?
Oh dear. What a brilliant podcast, if I may say so myself.
I
what
have
an
no idea
awesome
how long
week.
we've gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can put Origin behind us. We're heading towards the finals. Soon there's going to be Saturday night football on 9. The NRLW starts next week as well. So we're ramping up to that final run.
We probably need to do like a 2/3 season.
Probably.
Yeah, next week.
We'll do a check-in next week on the ladder. See how many games each team needs to win to make the 8 or where they can finish on the ladder.
Yeah.
Fox Sports or Channel 9 will probably put up something soon where it's like
A+.
You can win this. This is where they can finish, or this is where they can finish, high or low type thing, which will help.
She'll help.
I don't want to do
that. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed this. We just won an Origin Series jumper. It's very exciting. We look forward to seeing it again in about 3 years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wore it last night and it worked.
How good is Michael Maguire?
How good is rugby league, Emanuel?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.